Hello and welcome back. This is lesson 4. Are we up to lesson 4 already? That's awesome. So lesson 4 of the Mum's Taxi app. Now in this lesson, things are going to get a bit exciting because we're going to start some actual coding in this lesson, and that's what everybody's been waiting for, because people have been messaging me and wondering when do we actually start coding. Well, today is the day. Before I get started, I just want to remind you that if you want to get access to the previous lessons, they are on our learning management system. I'll put the link below this video in the description of this video on the various channels so that you can access it. Basically, it's a link to our website where you go in and you register for the online course. Now, we've got a powerful learning management system at IDVarsity that has all the capabilities that you can imagine in a learning management system. And there's also my support crew that's waiting for you. So you can ask questions, you can get any kind of support that you want. Code snippets also are available on the learning management system. So after you've done your own coding, you can check it against the code that I put there. If there are any downloads, we can put it, we normally put it on the learning management system. There's forums where you can ask questions. And also at the end of it, there's a short assessment, there's an easy assessment, and you can earn a certificate. If you want, you can earn a certificate by completing that assessment. Our academic team will assess you, and once you are successfully graded, then you will earn a certificate. Cool, why not? I mean, you can plug that certificate onto your social media channels and show the world that you've done some coding, you've built an actual app, and you've earned a certificate in the process. Okay, so as promised, today we're going to do some actual coding. We're going to focus on the front end of your app. We're just going to do the overall HTML part of the front end. We're not even going to add any styling yet, just the HTML stuff. So without delays, let's get down to it. Okay, so we're going to start off by putting a div tag. So open angle bracket. Now the angle bracket is actually the less than sign, but in coding we call it the angle bracket. And we type in the word div, class is equal to, and in double quotes we put in the word container, and we close the angle bracket. Now notice what happens when we close that angle bracket. Automatically brackets adds this close div tag for us, which is pretty cool. It's something that we need and we are going to use. So in between the two tags, this is known as a tag. All right, so that is known as the open tag, and this is known as the close tag. Now notice the tags, the difference between the tags, right? So a tag always starts off with an open angle bracket and ends off with a close angle bracket. And the close tag also has an open angle bracket, but it also has a slash, a forward slash, and close angle bracket. So I'm going to go between the two tags and I'm going to hit enter a couple of lines so that I get a space in the middle where I can continue typing. Next, I'm going to add a form. All right, so I'm going to put in open angle bracket, form, close angle bracket. And you can see the moment I close the angle bracket, the close tag is added in for me. So I hit enter a couple of times and I'm going to put in some information inside that form. Now, what exactly is a form? Now let's take a look at the finished product. Now, when you look at the finished app, you can see there's some text and there's a box where you input some numbers, and then there's text in another box, and then there's a button. Now, all of these things are inside what is known as a form. Now, a form in HTML is very similar to a form that you'd fill in. Maybe if you go to a bank or a cell phone shop and you want to apply for a contract, what do they give you? They give you a form. And what does the form contain? The form contains blank fields where you type in text. So they give you text to describe what is required to type into or to write into the form, and then you write in the field. So for example, a typical form would have something like name, surname, ID number, etc. Now, in HTML, a form serves almost the exact same purpose. It requires you to input data. So you've got a description there, which is how much monthly, and then you put in the data in there. How many days, you put in the data in there, and then there's the button to submit. Okay, so that's what the form entails in HTML. So the first tag we're going to put inside of the form is the label tag. Now the label is this text here. This is the label for this box here. So every box needs to have a label. I mean, imagine if you put a text box without a label, how would the user even know what to type into that box or what's required? So we put the label to describe what the app expects the user to type into that form field or into that box. So label, and we're going to give this label a class equals labels. And we type in the word for is equal to amount. Now just a heads up here, common mistake, very common mistake. People miss out these equals to signs. So if things are not working out in your code, then check that you've added the equals to signs. And it's so easy to miss it out and not even know it's missing. So take a look at this, right? This code looks perfectly fine, but it's not going to work because there's an equals to sign missing there. But did you notice how hard it was to find that missing equals to sign? Okay, then immediately after we close the double quotes for amount, we put in a close angle bracket, and immediately brackets adds the close label tag. And inside there, we're going to put in the text, how much monthly. How's that? Okay, so that's our first label done. The next thing we're going to do, so we've done this, right? We've done this label, how much monthly. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add this text box down here. And that text box is known as an input. And we're going to give it a class equals inputs. Type is equal to number. Now can you guess what this means, type is equal to number? It means that this input box will only accept numbers. So if somebody tries to type in letters in there, then the code won't accept it, which is pretty cool. So type is equal to number, and we're going to give this one something known as an ID equals amount. So the ID of this input box is amount. Okay, and then we put in the close angle, well, the close tag of the input. Now the input is different from your other tags because the input doesn't have a close tag. So all you do is put a / and an angle bracket, and you leave it at that. Now let's test this out in our browser. So I'm going to save this and run it in the browser. So I go to my code, and to open it in my browser, right click and open in Google Chrome. So there's our label and there's our input box. Now you can see there's a world of difference in what it looks like in the finished app and what it looks like currently. But that's the beauty of it. We're going to use style sheets to make this plain looking input box into this beautiful looking input box here. Okay, so it looks like we're running out of time, and we'll have to stop here. So we'll leave it at that for today, and we'll continue in the next lesson. Awesome, catch you then.